Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel, and today what we are going to discuss, we will be continuing with our chapters of alcohols, phenols and ethers. In our previous videos we have already covered alcohols, its preparation, its properties and its reactions. We also went through phenols, how to prepare them, what are their properties and what are the uses also we saw in the last video. And today I will be covering the topic of ethers. Alright, so first of all, what are ethers? Ethers are those compounds which have the functional group in which oxygen atom is in the center, and there are two alkyl groups on either side or two aryl groups. How does it look like? We will have a look. So we will have ROR as the function compound, where R will be nothing but your alkyl group, and it can be ArOAr also, where Ar will be your aryl group. This will be your aromatic ring. If this is the compound, like if we write it as ROR, then it will be called as an aliphatic ether. And if we write it as some benzene or its derivative on both the sides of oxygen atom, then it will be called as aromatic ether. Okay, so this is the way we are going to understand the ethers, compounds in which the oxygen is going to be the functional group. They are the most inert compounds, and that is why they are used as very good solvents. Now I will be showing you how will we prepare ethers in few steps. Let us see the methods of preparation of ethers. There are two important methods of preparation of ethers in our book. The first method is dehydration of alcohols. Now in this method, as you can see, we are going to dehydrate the alcohols. What is the meaning of dehydration? Is removal of water. D means removal and hydration means water. So we are going to remove water. Now how can we do that? Let us see. I will take an example of ethyl alcohol. So if I want to prepare an ether from ethyl alcohol, I will have to remove water from two molecules of ethyl alcohol like this. Okay, so it is very easy to understand that the molecule of water is lost from two molecules of alcohols. So it is going to be a bimolecular reaction because two molecules are participating, and this happens in the presence of a very good dehydrating agent, concentrated H2SO4 at the temperature of 413 Kelvin. We have to remember this temperature because if the temperature becomes very high, then the products will be alkenes. Now let us write the answer. It will be CH3, CH2, oxygen atom, and then the whole thing you are going to write it. Now you will write it from CH2, CH3. You will not write it CH3, CH2. So it will be CH3, CH2. So this, this is not going to be the right one. CH2, CH3 will be the right answer. So this is your compound which will be formed, that is called as diethyl ether. And how have we made the diethyl ether is by removal of water. So this mechanism is called dehydration of alcohol at 413 Kelvin. Now the mechanism will be asked in your exam for 2 marks. Let us understand the mechanism now. In the first step, the concentrated H2SO4 will be added. So the job of acid is to give protons. So the alcohol will get protonated. The H plus will get attracted towards the oxygen's lone pair, and we will get CH3, CH2, OH. This H is also getting connected over there on the oxygen atom, so we get a positive sign. So the first step is known as protonation of alcohol and formation of oxonium ion. So we will get ethyl oxonium ion as the species here. In the next step, second step now. What will happen in the second step? In the second step, the second molecule of water, alcohol, is ready to attack. So we will get CH3, CH2OH, okay, and this is going to attack the positive center. Now remember, the positive center will be your carbon atom and not the oxygen atom, because oxygen has already made 3 bonds. It cannot make more than that bond. So we have to attack the carbon atom, because the electrons of carbon are being strongly pulled by the positive oxygen atom. So as the attack takes place, immediately the bond breaks and water molecule will be lost. This reaction is actually your slow step, and it is SN2 reaction. It is nucleophilic substitution bimolecular, because 2 molecules are participating in this rate determining step. Now what will happen here? We will get CH3, CH2, and your oxygen atom has connected, hydrogen is still attached, and the CH2, CH3 can be written like that with a positive sign, because the oxygen has made a coordinate bond. It has lost its electron pair, so a positive sign will be coming over here. Now it's simple. The next step is going to be deprotonation. Okay, so this H will be lost out, and we will be getting CH3, CH2, O, CH2, CH3. That is your major product, diethyl ether, and you will be getting H plus coming out as proton, which was a catalyst actually. So the H plus, which is used in the first step, is removed in the last step. Concentrated sulfuric acid will be therefore acting as a catalyst. It will be also acting as a very good dehydrating agent, because it will remove the moisture which is coming out in the step number 2. You can see that water was coming out here, so I will write water also. So that is the role of your concentrated sulfuric acid. Alright, so here we have a question in the exam which they can ask you. The first question is that which is the most reactive alcohol in this dehydration. So as you can see that the attack is taking place in this manner. Such a big group is attacking the protonated alcohol, so definitely the tertiary alcohol, if you take, it will be very difficult attack, because tertiary alcohol's carbon will be surrounded by 3 carbon atoms over here. Now this is a primary alcohol, so the attack is easy, but if it was say tertiary, then it would have been very, very difficult. So since in SN2 reactions we have already studied primary alcohols, primary compounds will be most reactive. So here the order of reactivity will be primary alcohols are the most reactive, then secondary alcohols more reactive than tertiary alcohols. So this is the question asked in the exam. The reason for this is least steric hindrance for the nucleophilic attack. That's why the primary will be the most reactive here. Secondly, the temperature is important here. Why is the temperature so low? If the temperature is very high, then the reaction of elimination will take place and we will get the formation of an alkene. So that point also should be remembered by you. Let me show you now, if the temperature exceeds 413 Kelvin, what will happen. So this mechanism which we have discussed will be there in exam for 2 marks. Okay, so I will now repeat the steps. First step, protonation of alcohol. The second step is nucleophilic attack, which is an SN2 reaction. The third step is removal of proton, that is nothing but deprotonation. Now what happens if the temperature is too high? If the temperature is too high, then this step will not take place. If the temperature is too high, then we will have a different step. Let me show you. Then the second molecule will not get a chance to attack at all, because the temperature you have kept it so high. How much you are going to keep the temperature now? 443 Kelvin. So if the temperature is 443 Kelvin, then water is lost from one molecule of alcohol, and this step will automatically happen because you are heating it at so high temperature, and you will get the formation of a carbocation CH3CH2 plus, and water is lost. Now definitely this carbocation is not very stable, so it will try to stabilize itself by losing a proton from the neighboring carbon atom. So you can what will you do? From the neighboring carbon atom you are going to remove the proton and get CH2 double bond CH2, that is alkene, plus the proton is coming out. Now which proton is this? This is the same proton which we had used in the first step. So concentrated sulfuric acid is a very important chemical which is used in the dehydration of alcohols to form ethers at 413 Kelvin and to form alkenes at 443 Kelvin. So does temperature play an important role in deciding the types of products formed? So the answer is yes, it does decide. Low temperature favors the formation of ethers and high temperature favors the formation of alkenes. So these are the two important questions. You must take down the mechanism and understand it. Now we have to understand that what are the limitations of the first method of preparation of ethers. The first method of preparation is not suitable for preparing these kind of ethers which are unsymmetrical ethers. You can see the meaning is two different types of groups are attached. I will attach a different group now here. So two different types of alkyl groups will be attached on either side of the oxygen atom. Such ethers will be called as unsymmetrical ethers. Why can't you prepare them? Very simple, because if I have to have two different groups, I will have to use two different alcohols. One alcohol will be CH3, CH2, OH, and the second alcohol will be CH3, CH2, CH2, OH. Okay, so I'll have to heat both of them if I want to obtain this as the product with concentrated H2SO4 at the temperature of 413 Kelvin. But what's the drawback here is that this compound can react with itself. This alcohol can react with itself and give you CH3, CH2, O, CH2, CH3. It will give you diethyl ether. Propyl alcohol also can react with itself to form dipropyl ether like this, CH2O, CH2, CH2, CH3. And also both of them also may react with each other and remove water, and we will get the third ether of our choice which we actually wanted to prepare, CH3, CH2O, CH2, CH2, CH3. So you can see that in this method, if I want to prepare an unsymmetrical ether, it is a very bad method because I will get three different products which will be difficult to separate. So to prepare such ethers, we will have to use a new technique of preparation of ethers. So that technique we will study in the next video.